Hey there everybody, my name is Luke. Welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review where I am reviewing this tent right here. This is from Sierra Designs and this is the High Side 1 tent. It was a few months ago that you all saw this tent in an overnight adventure, and since then I've continued to use it and I'm ready to pass on my review to you all. Of course, the Outdoor Gear Review is 100% agenda free. No store, no affiliates, nothing like that. With that being said, I am here to provide you my feedback on this tent, and let's get to it. When it comes to the High Side tent, the retail price of this is $280, which is fairly impressive when you consider the weight of this tent, because this is an ultralight one-person tent. The package weight is 2 pounds 7 ounces, and the minimum weight is 1 pound 15 ounces. So right at 2 pounds for this tent, and at that price, that's extremely competitive. While looking at the tent, you could see why they refer to this as the High Side, and that's because this tent features a very unusual design, which I happen to like. In good conditions, you can have the front opened up just like this. You can use your trekking poles, you can use sticks to set this up, and you can enjoy the view, some excellent airflow, and so on. And you have plenty of room to store your gear underneath this vestibule. When it comes to the poles, those are DAC Featherlite aluminum. The fly material is a 20D nylon ripstop with silicone treatment. The floor fabric is a 30D nylon ripstop. The body fabric is a 15D nylon no-seam mesh. This tent features one entrance, one vestibule. When it comes to the dimensions, you are looking at 88 inches long. It is 34 inches wide at the top with the head, and it is 26 inches wide down at the foot. It has a peak height of 32 inches. Now, when it comes to the pack size, you are looking at 13.5 inches by 5.25 inches. It's very small. This is a non-freestanding tent, and that means that you have to stake this thing out for it to set up. It requires 2 poles, comes with 13 stakes, and there are 6 guy lines. When it comes to my testing, I got this at the end of summer, so I've been using it throughout the fall and into the winter when appropriate. Now, this is a 3-season tent. It is not made for snow. You could definitely use it in cold weather, but I would not recommend this for snow or ice or anything like that. When it comes to rain, just fine. It offers you plenty of protection, and I really like the vestibule because of that shelf, the High Side, which they call it. It really does work well, and it gives you a number of options when it comes to setup. You know, on those nice evenings where you want some air, you could set it up that way. You can have your gear underneath the vestibule, completely safe, excellent airflow, excellent ventilation. If the weather gets bad, you can hunker the thing down. It's a really, really good design. When it comes to the setup, it's not bad, guys. It is not bad at all. It does take a little bit of time because it requires so many stakes. I recommend at least 9 stakes to really set this thing up, to pull the fly away from the body, to get the best ventilation. So yeah, it does take a little bit of time. On a scale of 1 to 10, 0 being the easiest to set up, 10 being the most complicated, I would give this a 4. It's not bad. It doesn't take long, especially as you get accustomed to setting it up. When it comes to the temperature ranges that I've personally used this tent, we're looking at low 60s all the way down into the low 20s. And it really has worked well in all occasions. It's handled the rain very well. I've never had an issue with any leaking. I've had no issues with the bathtub floor. I've stayed perfectly dry no matter what conditions I was out in. With this sort of setup, you can see just how good the ventilation is going to be. If you have to really hunker down, zip everything up, make sure to pull the fly away from the body. That will increase the ventilation and keep you drier. Now, of course, this is a small tent, and if things are really, really nasty, really, really wet, you will build some condensation on the walls. That's to be expected, but it's not bad by any means. With my testing, it's nothing really to complain about. It's to be expected in certain situations. You can see here with the fly, yes, it is a breezy day, gusts up to 20 miles an hour. This thing is a champ, it really is. I've had wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour in this tent. I'm in the mountains. It's windy all the time in the winter and the fall. So yeah, this tent, no issues really to complain about. Once you have it staked out, it's very solid. The fly attaches to the body in multiple ways. You have clips on the ends. You also have Velcro attachments for each of the poles. It's a really good design, in my opinion, and that's one of the things that I really like about Sierra Designs. They think outside of the box. Their designs are different. Whereas many other tent companies are copying each other, doing the same designs over and over and over, not Sierra Designs. They're coming up with new ideas, and I like it. I like this design. It's smart. I even like the colors. I've complained before about Sierra Designs and their colors, but this is not bad. You have the blue. I kind of like blue. The gray is okay. You do have some yellow accents, but it's not obtrusive. It's not bad. Why don't we stop here and let's take a look at this tent in more detail. With the awning here, I love that feature. That is very, very cool. You can set this tent up with it or without it. It's whatever you want, whatever you need. You have a ton of guy lines. You have a vent on the back. You can roll this up, tie it up, get it out of the way. Another guy line. Another one. Another one. Another one. When it comes time to enter the tent, it's very easy. As you can see, you have a huge door here with dual YKK zippers. When you are inside of the tent here, you have one pocket on the right-hand side. You have the bathtub floor. All the seams are taped, and there's not much else to talk about. Now that we've taken a look at the inside of the tent, let's just go ahead and finish up with the review, starting with the pros real quick. As mentioned before, the price is right. You could pick this thing up for hundreds of dollars cheaper than comparable tents. That's awesome. Seam sealed, taped up, 100% waterproof, very good design. Also, this offers you quite a bit of space for even tall individuals. I would say if you're 6'3" and under, it would be perfect. If you're 6'3" and above, it's going to be tight. When it comes to a 3-season tent, this checks off all the boxes. Excellent airflow, ventilation. It's light, easy to set up, and it fits very easily inside of your backpack. It's a very small form factor, and that's a huge plus because it doesn't take up any space inside of your backpack. Ultra lightweight. I already talked about the awning. That's awesome. Additionally, the peak height is 32 inches. That gives you enough space to actually sit up and change clothes, do what you have to do. Yes, this is not a huge tent by any means, but you do have space in here. None of the material is going to be like laying on your face or anything like that. For a one-person tent, that's this ultralight, it offers you a good amount of space. Also, because of the torpedo shape, it does an excellent job in strong winds. Now, when it comes to the cons, of course, I have to mention that it's kind of small, but that's what you should expect with a one-person tent, so I'm going to scratch that one off. It's not a con at all. It is to be expected. It's a small ultralight tent. Now, a true con is that this thing requires a ton of stakes for it to really be set up correctly. You will need at least 9 to stake this thing out. Luckily, the tent comes with a ton of stakes, and you have plenty of setup options. Because it requires stakes to set up, it's not freestanding, this is not going to be the perfect tent for every situation in every environment and every adventure. So it goes without saying, pick the right gear for your trip. Ultimately, in my opinion, Sierra Designs has done an excellent job with this tent. Yes, there are compromises, but that's life. There's compromises with everything. But in my opinion, this tent offers you a great balance of all of the important aspects that are important when it comes to purchasing a tent. You have weight, price, durability, functionality, setup, ventilation. This checks off all of the boxes. And ultimately, I recommend it. So folks, that is my review of the Sierra Designs High Life 1 High Life. I want to say High Life all the time. Even though Miller beer gives me the worst headache. Anyways, for my review of the High Side 1 from Sierra Designs, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions for me, make sure to email me. Make sure to comment down below. Share your thoughts about this tent. If you have any hands-on experiences with it, make sure to share those. I'm sure that will be appreciated by the other viewers. I'd love to see this tent in a different color, wouldn't you? Like a coyote, an OD green. That would be sweet. That would be sweet. Until next time, everybody, take care, strength and honor. See you guys around.